Denver legend.
You know, I'm really glad that all this bullshit has died down with boxing versus MMA. Like, there's no, like, you can like both of them now. You can.
I deal with it all the time because what I'm doing. And this isn't a weird segue.
Do you deal with it?
I deal with it all the time, cause especially I can't officially announce it. There's an announcement coming out probably next
teaser.
Friday. Yeah, I got a
teaser, folks.
I got my own show on Showtime. Yeah, but it does just that. It's boxing, it's fighting, it's UFC,
Right.
Bellator, Showtime, like HBO. There's no agenda.
Right.
It's just like a variety, fun show for fight fans, entertainment fans.
That's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, man, I'm excited.
That's awesome.
But
you do see that though. Boxers don't like MMA.
That's
MMA
why
doesn't like boxers.
Yeah, that's what gave me the idea for the show when I pitched the show, because when I was covering the Conor McGregor stuff, I'd have these boxing heads coming in and like, "What are you talking about, man? Why can't get out of here? Stay in the cage, MMA. This is the sweet science." I'm like, "Well, I like both though, man. I was a Golden Gloves boxer. I like boxing too. Why does it matter? That's like saying I can't watch the NFL and watch the NBA. What the fuck are you talking about? I like both."
They get tribal. Everybody gets weird. Like, this is team boxing. We're team MMA.
It's very strange, man.
Yeah, it's stupid, man. There was a thing like that with wrestlers and jiu-jitsu people for a long time. Man, when Ensign Inoue armbarred Royce Alger in the UFC and got him, and they ran backstage, Egan Inoue yells out, "Fuck wrestling!"
It's like, how weird is that?
It was fun because there's a lot of shit talking going on between all the camps, and Royce Alger, who was a top of the food chain American wrestler, they thought he was just going to run in and storm the fucking UFC and start smashing people. And they even said in that fight, he said it's time to bring in the A team.
Yep.
That's what he said in his like little pre-fight thing. And Ensign anyway was like, "Yeah, you guys know about arm bars? Because I fucking sure do."
Yeah.
And Ensign caught him in an arm bar quick. See if you can find that. Ensign Inoue versus Royce Alger. It's Royce, but with an R, because he's an American cat. And then he lost to, what was that dude, the Wolf? That dude that called himself the Wolf? Jackson. God damn it.
Great name, though.
The Wolf Jackson.
Those tribes are so weird though, man. Us is versus them. It's very strange.
It's stupid.
You don't have to pick one. You can DVR the boxing fight and then watch the UFC fight. Like you can watch all of it.
Look,
they're completely different.
They are completely different, and there's some things that you can do in boxing that you just cannot do in MMA. You can't get away. There it is. Ensign Inoue, Royce Alger. God damn, man.
How about they have hats on?
Look, they had the old fucking the guy that looked like Boss Rutan on the floor.
God.
Like the whole deal, dude. And these are the early days. So this was in 1997, and I was there.
Is that at?
I don't know if it was in Denver, man.
That's Denver, brother.
Are you sure?
That's 1997.
Are you sure?
I
don't know if I went to a UFC
13?
in Denver.
That's Denver.
Are you sure? Okay.
I feel like it.
It might have been.
Type in UFC 13, Jamie.
It was the second UFC that I worked. The first one that I worked was in Dothan, Alabama.
And you don't remember where this one was?
I do not remember where that one was.
I don't know why I think it's Denver.
But a lot of them were in the South.
Georgia.
Augusta. There you go.
Boom.
So this one is, 97, yeah. And so Royce Alger takes him down immediately. And Ensign went on to submit a lot of guys, including he submitted Randy fucking Couture. So stop and think of this. This is a fight at, I don't know what weight they were fighting at. It says 200 pounds. But Ensign went on to shoot. Look at Bruce, a handsome bastard.
And still 97. Doing the damn suits.
Let me hear this.
To my left,
listen to this.
the top-ranked heavyweight judo fighter from Japan. He has a record of 8-2.
Even then, he had beautiful salt and pepper
hair.
hair.
Look at those traps, son.
Ensign was jacked. Jacked. Omiya, Japan.
30.
How jacked he was.
Hailing from Honolulu, Hawaii.
Damn. Shout out
and
30
fighting out of
I've ever
Omiya, Japan.
He was 30 then? Is that what it
Ladies
says?
and gentlemen,
He was already
welcome
really experienced.
Ensign Inoue.
He's also real experienced and had a fucking savage mindset. Look how jacked Ensign is. Jesus. Just skip ahead to the
how much better is Bruce Buffett? He was even good back then, but how much better is he now?
Well, now he just gets fucking back it up a little bit. He gets fucking psychotic.
Oh my God, look at this.
You gotta back it up a little bit. Are you ready? Let's get it on. John McCarthy looking slim. Look at this. Ensign moving forward. Royce Alger shoots immediately. Ensign goes to take his back. Look at the guillotine attempt here, or crucifix attempt here. Look at this. Switches it over.
Inverted?
No, he goes for the other arm. Watch this. Here it is.
Oh, this poor guy has no idea.
Yep, he just didn't know what to do. Oh, he slipped out of that one. And he's got wrist tape on. He doesn't have anything covers his knuckles. Ensign doesn't, but Alger does. So it's smart for Ensign. Like if he's going to get a choke or something like that. These are the days you didn't have to have anything. Like Royce is wearing shoes.
Yep.
Look, he's got some fucking wrestling shoes on. Remember, guys were scared of wrestling shoes because of heel hooks.
Heel hooks. You get a grip on the heel now.
Yeah, that was a big deal, right? Like if you were going to fight in Pride, boy, you got to be real careful of those fucking heel hooks, especially if you're fighting someone like Josh Barnett.
Correct. Depending on who you're fighting. If you're fighting with Verdum in Pride, you're going to be in some trouble with Gonzaga.
Here it is. He catches him from here. Here it comes. Setting it up. And you see he's punching with bare knuckle to the eyes and the face. It's a totally different feel, right? It's a different experience.
Completely different.
I'm a fucking giant proponent for bare knuckle. I really think they should go to bare knuckle.
You just can't.
Why not?
We're past that now. We're past that.
But you're not, because the fingers are all loose. Look, you saw this fight this weekend with the eye gouges?
Yep.
Let's talk about that. Look at this. Woo, 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 woo. There it goes, baby. Oh, that's the extension.
He just
right
has
here.
no idea how to get out of it either.
This is right there. This is Fucksville. That's
Ooh,
Fucksville.
super
Tap, tap,
fucks.
tap. Super Fucksville. That's a fucked up arm.
Ooh, look, his
that
arm's
probably
fucked up.
broken. Probably broken. Yeah, that's intense shit.
How jacked is that dude?
Jacked.
Why not?
He armbarred and Randy fucking Couture.
Back in the day.
Yeah, remember when he threw these nasty leg kicks from the butt scoot position? So first time I ever saw somebody throw real good leg kicks from the butt scoot position. Did you ever see that
Randy
fight?
was standing over him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
But
that.
dude, he would skip forward on his hand and slam that leg. Like real power in the leg kicks, like dangerous leg kicks, but not thrusts, like round
Actual kicks, yeah.
Yeah, he would like butt scoot forward and roundhouse kick him in the legs. And it's like, whoa, this is dangerous.
Thing about boxing that has my imagination and my fascination continually sparked is the finite nature of the tools and the weapons that you have to use.
yeah.
Right? I respect and appreciate MMA, but it's almost like the antithesis of that, in that they have so many things they can use and whatnot. It's an entirely different discipline.
Yeah.
But you're coming from a martial arts background. So I grew up on kung fu movies, right? And so when I started watching this shit, these guys were in gis. They were like, you know, I said, like, it's the Gracies breaking arms and whatnot, and that made sense to me. And I understood why a boxer wouldn't fight a karate man or a judo guy or whatever, because that's what the science is for me. Like, what you can do with these two hands and your 2 feet are the only way you can evade and all of that. But why can't the karate man, why isn't there like a Bruce Lee of MMA? As a martial artist, can you still believe in like one discipline after all this MMA is proven it doesn't work?
There's no real one discipline that will work best in MMA. You have to know everything. But if I was going to say what discipline's the most important, I would say wrestling. Because if you can't keep a guy from taking you down, he's going to be on top of you, he's going to hold you down, he's going to punch you in the face. It's a giant advantage to be able to hold a guy down, be able to punch his face in, and you can't really do much when the guy's on top of you. That said, from there, you have to understand jiu-jitsu, because if you don't, you could hold a guy down, then all of a sudden he wraps his legs around your neck and you caught a triangle and you go to sleep. And every fight starts standing. So you have to have some understanding of striking, because you have to be able to close the distance. But there's no one way to do it. That's what's interesting to me. It's like there's Anderson Silva's way to do it, who's the greatest middleweight of all time, and his way to do it was through striking. He would just stay up with guys and just fuck them up with timing and precision and Muay Thai. But then there's guys like Daniel Cormier who take guys down and beat the fuck out of them, choke them, you know, and there's a bunch of different people that with a bunch of different styles in between. But if you look at the majority of world champions, the majority, except maybe a couple weight classes, they're dominated by wrestlers. Gabby Garcia is a science project and a half.
That's crazy.
What is that?
I think
What's going
has
on
she
there?
been beaten?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah,
How are they going to find a woman who's 240 pounds?
they're not.
She's 240 pounds, jacked. And she's a legit black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
And she's legitimately tough.
I thought I saw the video of her grappling with Mackenzie Dern, and Mackenzie like almost.
Mackenzie beat her.
Oh, did she?
I think Mackenzie beat
See?
her in a jiu-jitsu match. But
Yeah.
in MMA, I don't think anybody's beaten her.
Yeah.
I think Mackenzie either beat her or had a draw, won on an advantage, something like that. But look, it is what it is. That's science. Okay, you're doing some stuff. You're doing some stuff to people that's not. Your body's not supposed to have that in there, lady.
It's not. I'm
You know, I mean,
telling you.
it's It's interesting because like the Bob Sapp thing, like you get to see what happens. Like, wow, okay, this is when someone just goes for it.
Yeah.
And when Pride, Ensign Inoue was on the podcast, and he Ensign's hilarious. He was detailing the contract. He was like, it said in all capital letters, "We will not test you for steroids."
Yeah.
They were like,
That's what Joey would tell me all the time. Joey Villaseñor. He's been in my corner for the last couple of fights.
Joey's an excellent fighter.
And he would say that. He said they almost
encouraged you.
encouraged it. Not almost. They basically did encourage it because they just wanted to see crazy things that like came out of comic books.
Yep.
You know?
They wanted you to be jacked.
Yeah.
They wanted you to be gigantic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as long as everybody's doing it, I guess.
I wouldn't want to do that even if I had the choice to do it.
You wouldn't want to.
I wouldn't want to.
Right. I get it. Well, that makes sense. And that's why I think people like you are important for MMA because you're a woman.
Yeah.
You seem like a woman. You behave like a woman. You look like a woman. If someone say, like, that girl's top 10 UFC fighter, you'd be like, what? Mm-hmm. No way. Really? She's so normal. Like, but if you saw Gabby Garcia and that girl's smashing people in Japan, you're like, I fucking believe it.
Yeah,
Jesus. I gotta get the fuck out of this room before she hulks out and starts to flatten me.
Yeah. No, I just I feel like it takes the joy. I feel like it would take the joy out of a victory
if
me.
you did steroids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you would become something different. The reality is a woman becomes something different when she starts taking male hormones. You just do. You become something different. Your tendons strengthen. Your bone structure changes. Your voice deepens. You become much more like a man. I mean, when you see transgender women, when a woman, rather, is a transgender man, she decides she wants to be a man. They start taking testosterone. They get beards. They have all sorts of strange things happen down below. And they start having a deeper voice and they sound like a man.
Yeah.
And then that's exactly what happens to a woman when a woman takes steroids if she's not trying to transition. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
You're just taking male hormones that make your muscles grow far larger than they're supposed to.
Yeah. I remember watching a movie that they did in Thailand. It's called Beautiful Boxer. Have you seen that one?
Yes. Yeah.
But it's the opposite. He wanted to be a woman. But I think he did it the right way, right? If there's a right way to do it. Because
well, he started as a man and then became a woman and kept fighting men.
yes.
And I think that someone should have told her at the time, like, let's just stop fighting. Let's stop fighting. Or this is my take on it. Like,
but she needed to keep fighting so that she could pay for her
surgeries.
transitions, right?
Yeah,
Or-
it's catch-22 if
Yeah.
there ever was one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but was an elite fighter until the transition, and then you see the skills start to diminish because there's no more testosterone when she's fighting men. But if she was fighting women, she would have a giant advantage still over
Yeah.
women, and I don't think that's right
No,
either.
I don't think that's fair either.
No one does. No one does except transgender people. Transgender people and super progressive activists who have no idea how sports work. It's those are the people that just want inclusiveness and they just want everyone to be okay, and maybe this is the world I'm looking for. I'm looking towards a world where everyone's included. Yeah, good. Have a transgender league. Have a transgender division. No, I'm cool with that. I'll be happily support them. But you're pretending that that's a woman. And it's not. It's a male who's transitioning to a woman. You have an XY chromosome. It's a different thing.
Yeah.
I'm 100%. If a woman says, I want to fight a transgender woman, okay. I'm 100%.
Let it happen.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But like for leagues to recognize that this is the same thing and like to say, like, how would you feel if all of the UFC's weight classes in the women's division were dominated by transgender women?
I would feel like there were some... I feel like I should not say something.
Right.
I feel like I'm going to get caught up saying something.
Yeah,
that
let
I
me
shouldn't
talk for you. It's fucking bullshit. It's fucking bullshit, right? Yeah. You don't have to say anything. And that's how girls feel right now when there's sports being dominated in track and field.
Yeah, that's not fair.
It's not fair.
I mean, I guess for me, I've always been, especially like being a female in a male dominant sport, I guess if I can like to consider myself a feminist, not so much a feminist, but when I go into the gym, my teammates look at me as a fighter. Like they don't look at me as a female fighter or anything like that. They look at me as their teammate. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that. I appreciate that they treat me as an athlete and all of that good stuff. But I feel like like at the end of the day, like girls need to fight girls and guys need to fight guys. We have different strengths than the guys do, and the guys have different strengths than the girls do, and it's nice for us to have a place so that we can showcase our skills.
Yes, I agree. I think the only problem that I have with that transitioning thing is physical competition. That's it. Physical competition against the gender that you supposedly align with.
Yeah.
You know, you can't do it. But here's what you don't see. Here's what you don't see. You don't see a lot of transgender men who want to fight men. You don't see a lot of women who are taking hormones to become a man who want to fight men. Mm-hmm. Yeah, good fucking luck with that, ladies.
Yeah.
Good luck. Stop. This is crazy. Like this idea that you just magically become a woman or you just magically become a man. It's just not true. Mm-hmm. And athletes recognize it and rational people recognize it. But there's so much pushback from progressive people who it's like, what percentage of the population are we even talking about here? I mean, it's not even 1%. It's a very strange thing that it's taking over the conversation with bathrooms and competition and sports and so many different things. I'm all for inclusiveness and I'm all for being open-minded and letting people do you.
Let
whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Be yourself. Be whatever yourself is. I don't know what yourself is. I don't know what you feel, but you can't compete against women. It's that simple. It's really that simple.
It has to be something deeper where they, and to me, I think it goes back to like that a mental block where you need some like a false sense of confidence.
Yes.
I feel like
devastating to see some of those guys. Some of those guys are like in their 50s, 60s, and they're not there at all.
Dude, I put a video up on Instagram or on Twitter. I retweeted it, and it's boxers where it shows the boxers when they're young and they're talking, and then it shows them like at the end of their career.
Yeah.
They're retiring, and then they interview them, and you see them like just completely gone, like a shell.
Yeah, I saw an interview with Riddick Bowe a while ago. Really bad.
Oh, it's awful.
And I remember even this one was actually kind of funny. Was James Toney? Because he was it was towards the end of his fighting, and he was definitely at least 40 pounds overweight.
Right.
Like really out of shape, but still throwing bombs.
Right.
And he was sparring, and it was like that piece that they air right before the fighters go to the ring on fight night. Mm-hmm. And I mean, he's definitely taking some shots and giving some shots, but he was sparring, and they were throwing in fresh bodies for him to spar against. So it was like, 2 minutes with this guy, and then boom, fresh body. And as he's like, he is like really hyperventilating, sweating, spitting. He's still talking shit. Like as he's fighting, he's like, bah, 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 hey, you faggot, fuck you, bah, 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 bah. And then they bring in the next guy. He's like, you piece of shit, your mama, bah, bah, bah. And he's a mess. He looks like a total mess, but he's just like talking shit, calling guys faggots and shit. Like as he's barely making it through these sparring sessions, and I mean, but he's one of those guys he had to fight.
Yeah,
he had to fight.
Well, especially towards the end of his career, he took a fight in the UFC.
He did.
Yeah. He's the only like real world champion boxer that ever fought in mixed martial arts in the UFC. And Randy Couture ankle picked him, took him down, strangled him
right away.
Yeah, it was easy.
Yeah,
I mean, there's just. I don't even think he really bothered learning.
Right.
I think he
was
just
like,
took a
I'm
paycheck.
lights out Tony, bro.
I think he just put the gloves on and got in there and just had no idea what to do when Randy got a hold of him. He was clearly untrained when it came to the guy. Look at this.
This is it right
low
here.
ankle, low single. I mean, this is the beginning of the fight. Randy just immediately mounts him, punches him in the head a bunch of times, and then strangles him. And, Randy was just honestly being nice.
Really?
Yeah, he could have punished him a lot longer if he wanted to. He just wanted to finish him up. It was sad because it was just, he was talking about all these guys just don't know how to handle his hands, and every fight starts standing up, and which is true. But Randy Couture will take you down all day, anytime he wants, and then he got him in an arm triangle and just smushed him. I mean, and even when he's punching him, he's not even hitting him that hard here. He's just trying to force him to give something up. That's what he wants. He wants his head tied down against the side of his arm. Then he's going to squish him, and that's going to tap. That's it. It's a wrap.
Whoa.
Didn't take a punch.
That was pretty quick.
Smushed him.
That was pretty fast.
Yeah. And James Toney's one of the best that ever did it. He's
Yeah.
a phenomenal boxer.
Yeah.
But just needing that
And
paycheck.
talked a lot of shit. He was a great shit talker.
Lot of shit. Yeah.
I just saw this yesterday. I don't know why it was coming around, but this is Bo Jackson throwing somebody out flat-footed from the outfield. Oh, it's not this one, but it's his next one if they show on the same
Dude,
one.
Bo Jackson was
Everything.
one of the freakiest athletes of all time.
His arm was so crazy.
Everything was crazy. If he didn't get hurt in that football game, look at this. Jumps off the wall so he avoids all the impact. Literally just ran up the wall.
Yeah, Bo knew everything.
He's a very
What was it,
interesting
baseball,
guy,
football?
man.
That was just two sports, right?
Played two sports, but world class at both sports. It wasn't until the football injury that he had to get a hip replacement. And
You
that
know,
kinda
growing up, he was
fucked
the
up his career.
first person you picked. Like, I got this motherfucker on what sport?
Dude, everything, anything and everything. There's certain dudes that just have the perfect build, the perfect
Yeah.
genetics, and then work ethic. Another one is a Herschel Walker. Like Herschel Walker's
His knees
workouts
are destroyed now.
How could they not be? How could they not be?
Yeah, they say he can barely walk now.
He'll still fuck you up. Herschel Walker he was fucking people up in Strike Force when he was in his late 40s.
I was thinking Earl Campbell. That's the one that's like really, really like bad with
I
his
don't think
knees.
Herschel Walker has bad knees. He was fighting almost until he was 50. He was fighting in Strike Force. A lot of people
yeah?
don't know that. Yeah, Herschel Walker at 48, 49, whatever he was when he was fighting, looked like a 30-year-old perfect specimen of an
Yeah.
athlete. He didn't look like an older athlete
Like
that's
he-
doing something
looked
different,
like
like
he's
trying to
still doing
fight. It looks like he's fucking world class,
Right.
ripped, full six-pack, super jacked, still
At
has the same
48?
discipline. At 40, what is his age there? What does it
I
say?
said 48.
48. Look at
Not
the
right
build.
there. 48
yes,
right there?
Yes, dude. Look at the build on this fucking guy. And he destroyed this dude in Strike Force. He beat a few guys. He was undefeated in MMA. And the way he would beat these guys was just, first of all, he had a long martial arts background. Like he'd
Right.
done martial arts before.
I did not
anything.
never know any of this.
But he's got such a crazy disciplined work ethic that like his body is still in pristine shape in his late 40s. Now, I don't know if he's taking hormones or anything here,
Right.
but either way, the way this guy looked in his 40s and the way he was
I mean,
competing,
it's just like his
didn't make
face.
sense.
His
Yes,
face does
everything
not
about
look.
him.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That guy would do push-ups and sit-ups and bodyweight squats and shit over weightlifting. That was like his big thing, was that he did mostly calisthenics.
I had no idea that he ever did that.
Dude, Herschel Walker was a freak
That's crazy. See, that's when I
athlete.
say you know everything. That motherfucker.
But dude, that's the thing. When he started fighting, people were like, "Oh, you know, he's like a guy who still wants to compete, who used to be world class at something. He probably won't be good at fighting."
Right.
He's fucking people
I mean,
up,
look at
man.
that. And it didn't, and with me just looking at it, it didn't look like it was just like a show. Like
No,
just
no,
trying
no.
to show.
No, he looks like a professional mixed martial arts fighter. I wouldn't say he looked like the best in the world,
Right.
but he was a professional. And he even went to one of the best gyms in the world. He went to AKA.
Where's that?
AKA is in San Jose. It's one of the best mixed martial arts. Cain Velasquez, Daniel
Yeah.
Cormier, John Fitch, Josh Koscheck. I mean, you can go down the list. A lot
So he
of
trained with
great
some of the top
fighters
people.
came out of there. Yeah, it's a great gym. And they have been training world-class fighters forever. So he went to the Lion's Den. Khabib
went-
Nurmagomedov trains
he
there.
went to-
Mike Swick trained there. I mean, it's the
He
it's
went
a
to the Comedy
Lion's Den.
Store.
He went to the Comedy Store.
He went to the Comedy
He went
Store.
right in there, and he trained there. Look at that! Look at that build! Come on, man.
Yeah.
Who the fuck looks like that in their late 40s and does professional cage fighting after a long career in the NFL? I mean,
Yo, that's
Herschel
crazy.
Walker's something special, man. He was
I
something
had
special.
no idea.
Oh my god, dude! And I'm telling you, every fight was like. Oh, but you know what I did want to talk to you about?
Yeah.
I watched The Social Dilemma,
Oh, jeez.
dude.
You know,
That's a must see, kids.
I heard it's depressing
Oh, so's
because
real
it's
life.
so real.
Real life's depressing, Tom. Listen to you. Everything's gonna be fine. Wear a mask. I live in communist Russia. Wear a mask. Trust me. Gavin Newsom's penis tastes delicious. We're all gonna be fine.
We are going to be fine. You think we exist on this plane and this plane only?
Ooh, that's heavy. No, because I've done a lot of drugs. I think there's probably
Yeah,
something
you've
else.
seen.
I think there's
You
something.
know.
I think there's something else out there, but just inaccessible right now.
Yeah.
But this social dilemma makes me very concerned about the future because all of these technologists and all these people that have invented all this stuff that now are very unhappy.
Yeah.
It's really fascinating
Well,
to
they're not-
see them discussing their own creations and see outsiders who are also technologists who didn't invent these things but are seeing the patterns in these things and understand it from, a really educated perspective. They're saying this could lead to civil war. Like, people are getting more and more divided, and it shows in the film how social media has made people far more polarized, far more divided than ever before. The red and the blue and the this.
Sure.
It's like, it's disturbing.
What's the most dangerous part of it, and can it be corrected?
Well, there's a lot of dangerous parts about it, but the thought bubbles, the fact that these people get in these bubbles of thought where everybody around you thinks your way and everybody who thinks a different way is the enemy.
Yeah.
This is a really dangerous part of the reality that we live in today, because it's not what we anticipated. I thought that the internet and the age of information and all that we're experiencing right now would bring about an understanding and a nuanced perspective
Yeah.
in life in all ways. Like, you'd be able to see things from other people's perspectives more easily because it'd be more readily available, and it would be more encouraged for you to seek out all this information. But a bunch of factors that happen at the same time all have sort of made it worse than ever before. There's social media and the divide that comes, and this is where the social dilemma comes in place.
Yeah.
There's a divide that comes about because of the way they've engineered these algorithms, which is really disturbing. So
Yeah.
whatever you're into, it finds those things and accentuates them because it just wants you to stay on more. It wants you to engage more.
Sure.
It wants you to pay attention to the things. Now, Ari Shafir did a little bit of a study on this, a little bit of a test, and he only YouTubed puppies. That's all he would YouTube. Just YouTube puppies, just to see what happened. And all YouTube would send him
Yeah.
is puppies.
Right.
All they would show him, all they would suggest is puppies.
Yep.
So this idea that they're engineering outrage is a little
Right.
disingenuous, because what they're really doing is finding what you're interested in. And people have been shown to pay attention to what they disagree with far more than what they agree with. So that's
the algorithm
how you,
spits you things that you
Yes.
disagree with more.
Exactly, because you get engaged with that and you get angry.
Oh.
That was a part of the movie.
rage.
It was showing how things that people disagree with, things that make people upset,
Right.
those are the things that people are much more likely to engage with. And you're like, fuck you, fucking liberals, or fuck you, you fucking racist.
Trumpy.
Everyone's racist.
Right,
It's like, it's this thing that is a part of being a person where you seek, especially when you don't feel like you're being heard, right? When you're at home and you're sitting on the toilet and you're going through Facebook and you see some shit about what the fucking burn the flag, you motherfuckers, and you start making these messages,
Right.
you're more likely to do that than seeing some beautiful story about these parents that adopt this kid and they give him a home and he
Yeah.
comes from a bad part of the world. Like that, you're not going to go, way to go for you. Let me write down all the amazing things about what you're doing.
Isn't that terrible?
Yeah, you're gonna get mad.
Yeah.
Or if you're on the left, you're gonna get mad because of the wildfires. You're gonna blame them on Trump and climate change and
Right.
all these different things. And
Yeah.
look,
Gets your outrage going.
yeah, I mean, so many people think Trump's responsible for the wildfires. Listen, folks, those fucking fires were going to happen regardless of who is president. Now, whether or not he is putting in policies that's going to protect people 10, 20 years from now,
Right.
that's a real argument.
Yeah.
But the fucking fires
Yeah.
that are going on right now are not because of Trump. It takes a long time to turn that battleship.
No, absolutely.
Well, Google is better.
Yeah.
They're much better at it. Yeah, and I use my Apple. I have an Apple phone and I have an Android phone.
Oh, you do?
My Apple phone is my primary phone, and I use my Android phone more to fuck around with than anything. But I'm fucking around with a few things on it, and one of the things is how well it picks up your voice and how well it transcribes it. So here's the argument, right? Apple is much better with your privacy. They're much better with your privacy. Like when you use Apple Maps, it's not sending your data to anyone. It's
Right.
not, but it's one of the reasons why Apple Maps is not as good. Google Maps are better.
Because they're sharing it.
It's just better. They're getting data constantly from you. They're getting data from all the other drivers.
Right.
They're sharing that data. They're compiling that data, and they're also sending ads your way to profit off of this to make it profitable. So because of that, because Google is just sucking up data constantly, they can provide you with better services. So they have an amazing search engine. They have but that was one of the things about the social dilemma. The search engine gives different results based on where you are. Like say if you type, they use an example, climate change. Like if you write climate change is, it might say a hoax or climate change is a terrible threat. Depending on where you live, like if you do
Just
it in
where
California,
you are, like if you live in, right.
it might give you one thing, but if you live in Waco, Texas, it might give you another thing. Yeah, and it's based on what it thinks you want to see.
That's crazy.
It's not good.
That's not good.
Yeah, that's
it's
why
just
I use,
reinforcing people's dumb ideas.
That's why I use DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo does not do any of that stuff, and it also it gives you things. It doesn't send your data somewhere. It protects your privacy.
So you put climate change is on DuckDuckGo.
No, I put chicks with dicks. And
Whoa!
then no one knows. No one knows.
I got a
No one
burner
knows what I'm
phone with
looking at.
DuckDuckBlow on it.
Yeah, you put whatever you want. It just the results are not curated.
Right.
So it's just giving you the most applicable results for the things that you're looking for. But it's not doing it in a way where it's curating it for your own interests. Like if you try to find things that are controversial, and we've tried to find that on the podcast before, where Jamie will Google something and I'll know it to be correct, but Google will not show that it's correct because maybe the correct answer is not politically correct. So you have to go through several pages, and maybe you even have to Google it in a very specific way to get to the heart of the science behind what's wrong with the consensus opinion. The consensus opinion might be wrong. Like that's the case with a lot of nutrition things. It's the case with a lot of things regarding like anything controversial, anything where there's a political motive to sway the argument one way or the other.
It's so amazing how deep you have to dive to cross-reference stuff to really try and assemble a truthful opinion. It's
weird.
So hard. So with all this stuff, like and you have all these people from Twitter and Google and stuff who are saying like what we did or Facebook was horrible and we really kind of effed things up. Do they feel like they can also correct this problem?
I don't know if you can put the cap on the bottle. I don't know if you can do that.
In?
I don't know if you can do that. I don't know if they know it either because they didn't think it was going to happen the first time. Remember, Jack Dorsey was testifying. I think it was before Congress. And he was saying that 12 years ago when we created Twitter, we had no idea that this was going to be a situation that we had to anticipate. No one ever saw this coming. And if you go back and see the early Twitter, when you would do the @ it would always show your name in front of every tweet. Yeah. So it'd be like @Tom Papa is having pizza. Like you would say what you were doing. It was really weird. Like how people would use Twitter.
Yeah.
You know. But it was like not political. It was just fun. Yeah. Like people just like no one knew what to do with it. And then somewhere along the line, people started figuring out how to get in arguments.
I know, it's so bad. We just always ruin everything. It could be so great. I remember when it first came out, it was like, wow, there would probably never have been slavery if there had been Twitter because people would have exposed it so early and it just seems so hopeful. But of course, all the scummy people get it and then just ruin it.
It makes people scummy too. Because it makes people more polarized. It makes people more aggressive in reinforcing their idea what the truth is and trying to stop other people. And you're seeing so much suppression of other people's opinions and expression today, which is so strange. Yeah. It's one of the weirdest times ever to look at the way human beings communicate. Yeah. Because of the tension. We were talking about this earlier. We never really finished the thought. But you got Trump. Then you get the pandemic, and then you get the economic collapse. You have all these things happening. So people they're desperate, they're sad, and then you've got looting, and you've got the riots, and so you get racial tension, you've got violence, you've got this anti-police sentiment, which also leads to more instability in the streets, more instability in the cities, and less safety, and fear of police, fear of gangs, fear of Antifa, fear of white supremacists, fear of everything. It's like all this fucking fear. Yeah. And then you have people arguing online. really literally addicted people.
Yeah.
People who are addicts.
Right, exactly.
They're just as addicted as people who are gambling addicts, just as addicted to people that are sex addicts. They're addicted to Twitter.
Yeah.
And they're mentally ill people, and they're constantly engaging in conflict.
Right, and they're coming up on people's posts, and you don't know that you're interacting with mentally ill people.
Yeah.
or people from other countries that are trying to incite it.
Assume you're
Yeah.
interacting with mentally unwell people, because almost everyone
Yes.
who's using it in that way is in one way or another mentally ill.
Or you put your phone in the drawer and you go to the park, and all of a sudden
You
everything
get shot
calms down.
and then there's no cops because you wanted to defund the police.
Everything calms down and goes away.
Well, it should.
because you're not living in this weird reality.
Yeah.
You're just living in real life, and you're not participating in all of that.
That's what we'd all hope for. The problem is there's so many people that are doing it.
Yeah.
Whether they're doing it on Facebook or Twitter or arguing, whatever things they're arguing about, it's spilling out into the real world.
Right. You're in the park being all zen, and all of a sudden a flash mob shows up that organized on Twitter, and you're like, what the hell is happening here?
What's
I
happening?
was just all zen a minute ago.
Do you know Rumble's not fighting, but he's got an event soon.
Dude, that's a
Ooh,
dangerous
weekend.
fight if you want to keep your knees.
July weekend.
Craig Jones is no goddamn joke. Craig Jones is a heel hooking motherfucker. He
Ooh,
is at
really?
Craig Jones is at the top of the food chain in the submission grappling world, but he's not as big as Rumble. But I don't think anybody's drug testing. But that means they're not drug testing Rumble. So who knows? I don't even know if they have to weigh in. I don't think they're going to weigh in.
They're calling it like David versus Goliath match, so I don't believe.
Oh, yeah.
Open weight.
Oh,
Yeah.
Rumbles
good
going to
Lord.
show up
EBI
350 pounds.
I wonder what Rumble's going to weigh, because Craig Jones has been grappling. I want to say he's probably around 215, 220. Long guy. He's not incredibly ripped, but the submission grappling world is very strange because there's no real drug testing to speak of, and everybody kind of knows that everybody's kind of juiced up. You know,
They're from Brazil. I mean,
it's
you know,
not even
yeah, it started in
Brazil. Craig
you know?
Jones is from Australia.
No, I mean, but I just mean
Yeah,
the
some of those
the community.
guys,
You know what I
yes.
mean? But
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it comes that much into play in grappling. You know, it's so much technique and leverage involved. And
It comes into play.
It helps you train much
It
longer,
helps
much harder. Yeah, you ain't
everything.
lying.
It helps you
Yeah,
be
it probably does.
stronger, especially with no gi.
Probably does.
You know, I think in no gi, well, I think it works with gi too. It's just, look, it's physical. It's a physical thing. You get two guys, one guy's on juice, one guy doesn't. The guy who's on juice has some sort of an advantage if they're both technically similar. But that's a tough fight for Rumble in that Craig is used to being on the bottom, and he's used to fighting with inside control of the legs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know what kind of leg lock game Rumble has.
Yeah,
What is
he's
this?
got
Dennis
his
Hallman?
SUG
Oh, yeah.
8 ends in 12
Well,
seconds.
the crazy thing is, Dennis Hallman went for a fucking heel hook here, and Craig Jones is like, nope.
Yeah, not a good idea.
Yeah, he fucked his leg up.
Not
man.
a good idea.
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to be the next little evolution that you see in MMA.
Is leg locking?
Is leg locks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
they're
think
going
so,
to be a
too.
big part. I've really started to incorporate it a little bit into my game.
Yeah.
It's especially against wrestlers. Like, I would be a little worried if I was in Rumble's corner for that, because wrestlers are a little more susceptible to leg locks for sure. So I feel like that's going to be like the next little level that you see guys
Well, it's a
starting to go for.
you have to understand the system, and I don't. I'm not a leg lock guy.
It's hard.
Yeah, I see the transitions, but if I was on the mat with them, I wouldn't be a step ahead. I wouldn't be able to know where they're going, and I would have to react as it's happening, which is a giant disadvantage. And I don't know what Rumble knows. I know he was a great wrestler, but Rumble's big thing was never submitting people. It was fucking people up, standing up.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best way is just to try and disengage from them and just not let them have your legs. It's just, that's easier said than done.
Yeah, good luck with all that with Craig Jones.
Yeah.
It's just the thing with those guys is when you're rolling with someone who is that high level with submissions, you are reacting, and they know how you're going to react, and they're anticipating your reaction, and they have a counter to your reaction. And you're always one step behind. So you can explode and explode, and then eventually you get a little tired, and then whoop, whoop. And, Hickson used to talk about that. He's like, they can't keep the rhythm. That's what I always say. They can't keep the rhythm like this because they just keep going. They keep attacking, and you just can explode and just show everybody how athletic you are. But after a while, that shit wears out, and then next thing you know, you're wrapped up in something.
Yeah, and I think they see more guys like you. You know what I mean? They see more guys that are just trying to they see a lot of wrestlers and a lot of guys just try those same kind of defenses where you're not seeing that many guys that are good at leg locks like that,
right?
Especially to the point where now they're starting to understand it way more technically than like Parhara's style of just like grab your foot and just try and like squeeze the shit off.
Well,
like,
Parhara's had some good technique, but it
for
wasn't
sure,
as
but
complex as like Eddie Cummings or something.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
I don't mean Parharas in general. I just mean that style of doing it. Some guys you just see like they just grab your foot and just will twist it the way it ain't supposed to go.
Right,
but
right.
when you look at a guy like Donahue's style, and he's breaking it down like a mad scientist. He's like, there's literally going to be no way that you're going to get out of those different levels of it.
Well, you're seeing that with Gary Tonin now in MMA.
Yeah.
Gary Tonin was fighting over and won. He just submitted the shit out of somebody with an inside heel hook.
Has he fought against him?
Yeah, he just fought real recently. He just fought like a week ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Gary Tonin's, he's going to be a world champion. I really believe that.
Yeah, I seen his first like 2 maybe.
Well, he's undefeated. He's 4-0 now.
Oh, okay.
And it's just the way he's winning too. He's fucking people up, and he's super dedicated, and he's just real smart. And when he's got with a guy like Danaher in his corner, like Danaher is another guy, and he's also, by the way, he's locked up with Faraz Sahabi. They're all like in cahoots together. They train together, but Donaher's got a special brain. He really does. He has a special understanding of submissions.
Yeah, I want to talk to that guy.
Yes,
I
you
should.
should.
Yeah,
you definitely should.
Talk to him.
Get on down to New York.
Yeah, he's the type of
visit to Henzo's.
Yeah, he's the type of dude. I said I'll talk 6 hours with him, like because he seems like he's got that systematic way of breaking stuff down.
Yes.
So
he does.
I kind of like that because it takes the guesswork out of it. You know what I mean? It takes the what if he does this? Oh well, then he's got an answer for it. What if he does this? He's got an answer.
Yes.
That's why I feel like I'm kind of missing in my game. Well, not necessarily that in my game, but.
Yeah, I think that would be a great addition to anybody's game is to train down there and understand what that guy's doing. Or, I mean, there's quite a few different systems now, and then like you got like Craig Jones, who's coming, like I said, from Australia. He's got a very similar system too. It's just everybody's got different approaches to it. But what Danaher did and that Henzo Gracie team did is they just kind of like proof of concept, like just let everybody know, hey, like you're missing out on a giant chunk of this thing, and a giant chunk of this thing is all the variables that come into play when guys are trying to rip each other's knees apart.
Yeah, and it kind of goes back to even like. Those individual sports are so ahead of ours a little bit,
Like what we were talking about earlier, when you're seeing world-class jiu-jitsu fighters or a world-class Muay Thai fighter, they're just better at that thing than the guys who do everything.
Yeah, so, I mean, a couple of years ago, you saw more, like, jiu-jitsu going to back attacks and, arm bars were, like, really big in it. And now then they kind of went through, like, the leg lock era. And I feel like we kind of stuck on the back attack kind of arm bar. And eventually we'll move over to being able to pull off leg locks, because now you're seeing a lot of jiu-jitsu guys kind of get away from leg lock and starting to the defense is starting to catch up a little bit. I didn't get to go to Worlds to see it, but I always like to stay one step ahead of it and see where it's going, and what's on the other side of it.
Well, that's one of the more important parts of being a person, right? Is to really your diet of what you take in terms of whether it's your art or whether it's your education. Try to take in the best and most inspirational and the most spectacular versions of human endeavors.
Absolutely. See, that's one of the reasons why sports is a kind of American religion.
Sure.
Because in sports or whatever form, I know that you got is it the taekwondo and thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and you understand the role of excellence, what the Greeks call arete, that place. But to be able just to turn on our television and see Brother LeBron James do his thing, that's another context that cuts across race, class, gender, and so forth. LeBron, how you do it? Then memories of Mike Jordan and
Well,
Jerry
that's why Ali
West,
was so important.
Ali
when he sat out those 3 years in the late 1960s because he wouldn't go to Vietnam.
Courage, man. Muhammad Ali, along with Richard Pryor, it was the freest black man of the 20th century. But see, the boxing is so crucial, as well as the other sports, because for black people, every other sphere in the society is unfair and unfree. But when you get in that ring and the referee is fair, you finally get fair competition.
Yeah.
That's why Jack Johnson was such a threat. You remember when
Yes,
Jack Johnson
sure.
was knocking white brothers out? There would be
Sure.
racial riots against
Yeah.
black folk, killing black folk all across the country. Don't you get the idea that just because he beat the white man in the context of fairness,
Yeah.
that you can beat anybody?
Right.
And that goes all the way to Muhammad Ali. It's very interesting, the time I spent with another genius named Prince, who we miss so very much. There's nobody like him. But he, like Miles Davis, viewed Jack Johnson as his favorite black man. Isn't that interesting?
Well, he was a pioneer because there was none before him. Jack Johnson was
Johnson
literally
was
the
out
first.
there all by himself.
By himself.
In many ways. There was one, I think, but not as famous.
Not as famous.
But in terms of the spotlight.
Yeah, there was other great boxers that were
Right,
black at
right.
the time, but he
just took it
yeah.
to a height and
Yeah.
leave the country and so forth.
Yeah.
You see. And with Muhammad Ali, you got someone who was just himself in the context of a social movement that was taking place at the same time. So he would associate himself with the black freedom movement called the Civil Rights Movement. He joined the Nation of Islam under Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Then became very close to Malcolm X and had to deal with the split in its own way, and ultimately becomes a more orthodox Muslim, but at the same time recognizes his political consciousness was tied to the Nation of Islam and so forth. And for him to do that, to be associated with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Nation of Islam probably had about 0.1% approval in the country, and probably about 4 or 5% in the black community, because at that time black folk and black Christians were just afraid of the black Muslims. But it was Malcolm X who, in all of his genius, made it so broadly conceived that even Christians like myself, I'm a Jesus-loving free black man, but I can't live my life without Malcolm, you see. And he's Muslim to the core.
Right.
He's praying 5 times a day. You know what I mean? That's just the beginning of it.
Well, he's also very complicated too because his grandfather was white.
Well, his grandfather was white. His father was a Garveyite. His mother was tied to the interracial, but his father was a Garveyite who was killed. His mother, of course, put in a sane asylum. He's a foster child. The great stories he tells in the autobiography of Malcolm X, one of the great classics, really, memoirs in the history of American civilization.
But he's very misunderstood in terms of
Malcolm,
the cultural narrative of who he was.
Absolutely. No, it's true. He used to say sincerity is my only credential.
Ooh.
Isn't that powerful?
Damn.
Sincerity. So when he said white men and women are devils, and he believed it. Now he's wrong. No, white brothers and sisters are not devils. Then he says, I changed my mind. They're not devils. Too many got devilish behavior. He's right. Because that's true. Too many of all of us have devilish behavior, you see. But when he said the first thing, he said what he meant what he said. When he said the second thing, he said what he meant what you said.
Yes.
How many folk do we have like that today?
That aren't scared to change their mind.
And speak what's deep in their souls, you see.
I want to show you these gloves. I brought some gloves to show you. So these gloves right here are what we're going to be doing for the competition gloves. The competition and the training gloves, the 7-ounce training gloves. So pretty much what these are. So this one is the, let's see here.
So has he developed a different glove for MMA for competition as well?
Yeah, so this
has
is
the UFC seen these? Because they need to make some adjustments. Clearly.
Yeah, we're talking with the UFC, but these are so these are the ones.
They're curved. I like how it's curved.
So it's curved.
So it sets up that you are in a curved position
already
early on.
Because when you, as you know, when you get the gloves now, they're like a cardboard. And
they want to open your hand.
Yeah,
almost.
They always want to open your hands.
Yeah.
But this allows your hands to stay in a natural fist locked position, and you don't got to worry about that. Need some help getting it on?
Yeah, I have big hands. Oh yeah. Okay, so it's curved right away.
Yeah, curved right away. And then when you,
that's way better. Yeah, like the old Pride gloves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good padding too.
So it's.
I like them a lot. These are definitely better than the ones UFC's using right now. I'll tell you that. Yeah.
So it's, you know, if you see the X strapping system in there, that also goes in there. So then that way it makes it so that your hand, you don't get the boxing break on your hand. It keeps everything, all the muscles, all the ligaments and bones in place. So that way when you're punching, everything is in form.
So it says grappling glove, fight glove.
Yes, a grappling glove and fight glove. So these ones were the ones at the factory, and I had to hurry up and get these out just so I wanted to show you these. So this one is going to be like the training one, but we're going to put a different head on the front of it.
What's going to be different about it?
It's going to be just the top is going to be different, a little bit more, so you can punch with, like, you can
hit it with the side.
Hit it with the side. It'd be a little bit like.
This has got some side padding.
Yeah, but
definitely better than nothing.
It'd be a side padding like this a little bit more, you know.
Okay.
So it's going to be a bit bigger, so that way you can hit like that and train
like casting punches like those. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I like these a lot.
Yeah, I mean, but Trevor's whole thing, man, you know, it's all about making it so that fighters can do what they enjoy doing a lot longer and be healthy about it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And Trevor's a G when it comes to adjusting and making what he needs to for the fighter, so they can continue to do what they want to do. He's made headgears for people to. So, because one of these fighters had a broken nose, and he made a headgear, and the headgear that he made with this guy, it was sick.
How does this work? This is weird because it's like both sides are male.
Let's see here. Oh yeah, so this is let me see. It goes on the
inside.
Yeah, it goes on the inside.
How does that work?
Yeah, it goes on the inside. I gotta see.
Okay. Probably some weird shit you got to talk to Trevor about.
Let me see.
Or maybe it goes this way first. Oh, I bet that's exactly what it is. I bet it goes this way first.
Yeah, so you can put. Yeah, that's exactly how it goes, like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that is exactly what it is. It goes
so
like
you can pull the strap on it.
Yeah, and then the strap goes over. Okay, I see. And the strap goes over the top. These are great, man. Well, there's definitely room for improvement. The current state of MMA gloves, like the ones that UFC uses, they're better than the original ones that they had a few years back. You know, they improved them maybe 8 or 9 years ago or whatever it was. But still, those are better.
Well, see, I mean, and that's where we are at Onyx. You know, we just want to be able to get a product out there for the athletes, and that they can use, but it protects them, because a lot of the injuries, like 75% of them, happen in training.
Sure.
You know, and if we can kind of cut that number down, then they can have a lot more of these fighters making these dates.
Yeah.
And for the most part, for these fighters, you can actually, you know, you can have gear that protects you, and you don't got to suffer these long injuries like these ACLs. And,
right.
And, you know, it helped mitigate some of those things.
When you look back on this now, and you think, I mean, when you watch these old matches from like 1993, what does it feel like to see that?
Crazy. I think my father was crazy to put me in there, man.
Well, no one had ever done it before on television. It had never been, in America at least, it had never been a thing. And then to all of a sudden have this.
No time limit, no weight
time
division,
limit.
no gloves.
No rules.
No everything. No biting, no eye gouging.
Yeah,
right?
you could punch the nuts, everything.
Yep. But if you do a gouge or bite, like Gerard Gordeau, as soon as I took him down, he beat my ear on the first year, on the finals, on the first UFC. But there's no punishment. There's no, okay, you're going to get disqualified. And it's like, don't do it again, sir.
It's so crazy. But then from that moment, from UFC 1, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu exploded across the country. Exploded.
Gracie Academy double size after the first UFC.
Wow.
After the second UFC, we double again.
Wow.
Size.
This is in Torrance?
Torrance.
Yeah. I started at Hickson's place, and then I went to Carlson Gracie's place because I didn't know any better. It was closer. It was closer to me. It was on Hawthorne. That was when Vitor was making his debut in the UFC, back when they were calling him Victor Gracie.
Yes.
It was UFC 12. And I remember the feeling of the first class, the feeling of how humiliated you are when you don't know jiu-jitsu and you spar with someone who knows jiu-jitsu. It's like you think you know how to fight, and then you get in there, and then all of a sudden you're on your back, you don't know what to do, and all of a sudden you're getting choked, and you're like, oh no, this is crazy. Like it was.
And you've been doing martial art for a long
my whole
time
life.
already. So
I had a completely distorted idea of my ability to fight, completely distorted. And I remember my first class, I was like, oh boy, now I know.
it's like back in the garage days, there was always a student that bring a family friend or a family or member or coach from different styles of martial art, and they'll come in to fight us. But we, Horde and I, would be like, okay, we're gonna control and turn him into a student. So we'll take the guy down, mount, and pretty much talk to him, maybe choke, maybe arm bar, let it go, not hurting. And the guy will go home and goes, oh man, can I sign up? Can I learn?
Right, because of the fact that you didn't hurt them. You could convert them into a student. If you beat the fuck out of them and just broke their face,
they would never come back.
Yeah.
So we were more concerned about gaining a student than trying to beat them up. But they will come in to fight. We were converting them.
Wow. Was it your father that was the mastermind behind doing it that way?
I think that was Horion, because Horion was like my second father. I came live with him. I was 17, going on 18. I came to America to live with Horion.
So Horion was a lawyer, very smart, very calculated.
And we were teaching back in the garage days, teaching every day, private classes, half an hour private classes. Place looked like a crack house. Half an hour, there's a person coming in and leaving, come and go. The neighbor's like, what are they doing over there?
It's amazing what started in that garage, if you really think about it. But it's also amazing, like his vision, that he had so much belief in jiu-jitsu that he knew that it wasn't like it had to be developed. It was already there. You just have to show people. They just need to know.
And we try advertisements, and so he finally figured out we have to put on TV. And once the American people find out, the whole world will see it. So, and that's what happened. Put on TV, second UFC.
Yeah.
People coming from everywhere. There was applications coming from different part of the world.
It's crazy. There's never been, I mean, other than maybe one thing that happened, like Bruce Lee movies. People saw Bruce Lee movies. They all wanted to learn martial arts. But other than that, but that was movies, right? So that was like you wanted to do this thing that wasn't real. Like this guy was fighting 10 people. They were all coming at him one at a time. Wah, wah. But it wasn't real. Watching you in UFC 1, it was like so many people had this light bulb moment.
But I thought a lot of people thought it was fixed. It was like, no, there's no way this thing's for real. Even though Taylor Tully lost a tooth by Geraldo Gordon, got kicking him in the face right off the first fight. Mm-hmm. It's like, but a lot of people thought, second UFC, still people like, I think the fourth one is when people said, okay, this thing's for real.
Martial artists knew right away.
Yes.
In the martial arts community, right away. I didn't see UFC 1 first. I saw UFC 2. That was the first one that I saw. Because UFC 1, for whatever reason, I think it was some licensing thing, it wasn't available as a DVD or a VCR tape.
Yes.
So the VHS tape, when it was released and you could get it in a store, a friend of mine had told me about it, and I had just moved to California. It was 94, and I got a hold of UFC 2, and I watched it in my apartment. I remember going, oh my goodness. Like it just changed my mind about fighting. You know, fighting for me was always stand-up fighting. I mean, I wrestled a little bit in high school, but fighting for me was kickboxing. So when I saw that, I was like, wow. I remember everybody, like all my friends that were into martial arts, everybody was scrambling to try to find a jiu-jitsu school. Like there had never been a moment like that where one martial art had emerged with such force.
Jiu-jitsu, judo, wrestling. Mm-hmm. I had a lot of wrestlers and judo guys that came up to me. It's like, man, thanks for putting us on the map.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to the old black belt magazines, Inside Karate, Inside Kung Fu, was all stand-up martial arts.
Yeah.
They wouldn't consider wrestling, judo part of martial art.
I know, isn't that
no,
crazy?
That's not. It's
Yeah.
all stand-up.
We used to share a gym back when I lived in Boston. There was a guy that I used to work out with, and he had a gym that he would share with the judo class. So on one side there was a judo guy, and the other side was the kickboxers. And I remember thinking, like, what are these guys doing? Like, what a waste of time practicing throwing each other around. Like, what's the point? You know, and no one knew. It's so interesting that everyone, see, from the time I first got into martial arts when I was a little kid, there was always this thought, like, what would happen if a karate guy fought a judo guy? What would happen if a boxer fought a wrestler? And everybody had an opinion. But until UFC 1 came around, no one really knew. It was just theoretical. I always maintain that since 93 to today, martial arts have evolved more over the last 30 years than they have over the last 30,000 years.
It's everybody had that like what would happen.
Yeah.
But nobody would challenge the other one. Nobody
Right.
wanted to step on anybody's toes.
Well, nobody was willing to take the chance, you know?
What if I lose, or what
Right.
if I don't want to bother? I don't want to beat the other guy too, because if I beat him, he's gonna feel bad. And there was a lot of that. Yep, we were like, hey, we're willing to find out.
Yeah. Well, thank God you did that. I mean, thank God it came along, because who knows where martial arts would be today if that hadn't happened.
It would have still people thinking the death touches.
Yeah.
And
All that shit.
I'll touch you right here in the
Yeah.
shoulder, and a week from now your arm will paralyze. It's like,
Yeah, I'll grab your
okay.
collarbone, you go to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of that stupid shit. There's still that stupid shit out there. There's still a lot of people out there that
That
believe that
believe.
stuff. It's crazy, isn't it?
But hey, UFC came along.
Yeah, but most people know
Show
now.
the world.
Most people know now. I mean, now if you want to fight, you have to know jiu-jitsu. You have to, because there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
If you take jiu-jitsu away, it goes back to the old style. Stand up, karate against kung fu.
Mm-hmm.
Jiu-jitsu, the bond in between the striking arts and the grappling arts and
Yeah.
all of them.
I mean, there's still guys who only understand jiu-jitsu in a rudimentary sense, like they understand defense, but you have to at least understand defense. You have to at least know what someone's doing. You can't compete without understanding it, because you'll get caught.
You gotta know.
Yeah.
Not just on the grappling part, but on the stand-up part. You have to know how to defend yourself. It's like, it's not just come up and start to hit the opponent. No,
Right.
no. I gotta manage distance. I gotta know when I'm too close and he's gonna hit me. So I gotta play defense all around.
What is it like for you, having been there for UFC 1, to see what it is today? To see like UFC 300, which was just insane. This thing where millions of people are watching it around the world. It's this huge phenomenon. It's like the most exciting sport in the world now. And to know you were the original, you're number one. There's only going to be one original Ultimate Fighter. That's you.
I don't look at that way. I look as a yeah, I was part of it.
You were the part of it. If it wasn't you, like if you didn't exist, if they had the UFC 1 and there was no representative of jiu-jitsu, some big strong guy would have won. Maybe it would have.
Or what if I lost?
Right. What if you lost? Yeah.
So I said the other day, I'm not part of the history. I am the history.
Yeah. You are the history. Yeah. You were the original representative of jiu-jitsu. And
So-
the reason why the UFC became so exciting was not just because you get to see these wild fights inside of a cage, but you see a smaller guy with better technique beat the bigger, stronger men, which is what martial arts was always supposed to be. Jiu-jitsu, I always tell people, is the only martial art that delivers as advertised. Because if you're a kickboxer and you're a small guy and another guy's a kickboxer, but he's like 250 pounds, like
You don't stand a
you're
chance.
Fucked. You're fucked.
A
He's going to hit
boxer,
you. Yeah.
Lightweight boxer against a heavyweight doesn't stand a chance.
Doesn't stand a chance. But jiu-jitsu, if you are really good and that guy doesn't know what he's doing, you're going to fucking kill him. He doesn't have a chance.
or even if he knows what he's doing. It's
Yeah.
like the
He's
lightweight.
yeah.
The lightweight have a chance.
Oh yeah.
To survive and play defense and end up choking or armbar the bigger
Right.
opponent.
Which is why absolutes in jiu-jitsu
Yep.
matches are so interesting. When you watch a small guy beat a big guy.
Win the heavyweight
Yeah.
championship. It's like
crazy.
it's a lightweight.
Yeah. No, it's the only martial art that really delivers as advertised, where technique triumphs over everything.
And that's what my father and Uncle Carlos and their brothers always tried to show people that you don't have to be the biggest, the strongest, the fastest. You just got to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
My father used to say, give me the right leverage and I'll lift the world with one hand. Just got to have the right setup. Poop.
Well, that was also the brilliant thing about jiu-jitsu and your father. So your father was a smaller guy. He weighed like 147 pounds or
About
something, right?
445, yes.
Crazy. Crazy.
And challenge everybody. Wrestlers that came from boxers who go to vacation in Brazil. He would be at the airport waiting for the guy. It's like the old Joe Louis went
Really?
to Brazil, and and went to Brazil, and my father challenged him.
Wow.
Horner had a letter that was given to my father saying Joe Louis would box against anybody. Boxing against boxing, not in an MMA match. My father was like 145 pounds. Joe Louis was 220, 200 pounds, the heavyweight champion at the time.
Wow.
The old man was crazy.
Imagine if he took that on, if he was willing to do that. That would have been exciting.
But back then, there was no the internet.
Yeah.
So a lot of people probably wouldn't find out.
Right.
It would be very smart and it would be didn't happen.
Yeah, no one would
There was
understand.
no tapes and yeah.
Right. Yeah, you'd have to set that up. Bring a camera crew and the whole deal. Yeah. What was it about your father that had this mentality, that had this desire to challenge himself and prove jiu-jitsu's effectiveness?
I think he was being smaller, being peak on it, and once he learned, he had that power. He learned jiu-jitsu, he got that power with him. So he want to show others. And he wasn't, I would say, as a fighter, he always says, if I fell on top of the opponent, I would have been nice. I would have choked him out, I'll subdue him. Use submission, make him tap, technique. If he was on top of me, I would have beat him up. He used to say, hit him, get off me, get off me. He should have listened, he should have got off me in the first punch. He would tie you up and beat you from the bottom.
The thing we have to hone in on is the asymmetry of power. As I say in the film, it's like we're bringing this ancient brain hardware, the prefrontal cortex, which is like what you use to do goal-directed action, self-control, willpower, holding back. Marshmallow test. Don't get the marshmallow now. Wait later for the 2 marshmallows later. All of that is through our prefrontal cortex. And when you're sitting there and you think, okay, I'm going to look at this one thing on Facebook because my friend invited me to this event, or it's this one post I have to look at. And the next thing you know, you find yourself scrolling through the thing for like an hour.
Right.
And you say, man, that was on me. I should have had more self-control. But there, behind the screen, behind that glass slab, is like a supercomputer pointed at your brain that is predicting the perfect thing to show you next. And you can feel it. So this is really important. So like, if I'm Facebook, and when you flick your finger, you think when you're using Facebook, it's just going to show me the next thing that my friend said. But it's not doing that. When you flick your finger, it actually literally wakes up this sort of supercomputer avatar voodoo doll version of Joe. And the voodoo doll of Joe is, the more clicks you've ever made on Facebook is like adding the little hair to the voodoo doll. And the more likes you've ever made adds little clothing to the voodoo doll. And the more watch time on videos you've ever had adds little shoes to the voodoo doll. So the voodoo doll is getting more and more accurate the more things you click on. This is in the film, The Social Dilemma. Like, right. If you notice, like, the character, as he's using this thing, it builds a more and more accurate model that the 3 AIs behind the screen are kind of manipulating. And the idea is it can actually predict and prick the voodoo doll with this video or that post from your friends or this other thing, and it'll figure out the right thing to show you that it knows will keep you there, because it's already seen how that same video or that same post has kept 200 million other voodoo dolls there, because you just look like another voodoo doll. So here's an example. And this works the same on all the platforms. If you were a teen girl and you opened a dieting video on YouTube, 70% of YouTube's watch time comes from the recommendations on the right-hand side, right? So the things that are showing recommended videos next. And it will show you, what did it show that the girls who watched the teen dieting video? It showed anorexia videos, because those were better at keeping the teen girls' attention. Not because it said these are good for them, these are helpful for them. It just says these tend to work at keeping their attention. So again,
these tend to work if you are already watching diet videos?
Yeah. So if you're a 13-year-old girl and you watch a diet video, YouTube wakes up its voodoo doll version of that girl and says, hey, I've got like 100 million other voodoo dolls of 13-year-old girls, right? And they all tend to watch these other videos. I don't know I just know that they have this word thinspiration is the name for it,
Really?
to be inspired for anorexia. Yeah, it's a real thing. YouTube addressed this problem a couple years ago, but when you let the machine run blind, all it's doing is picking stuff that's engaging.
Why did they choose to not let the machine run blind with one thing, like anorexia?
Well, so now we're getting into the Twitter censorship conversation and the moderation conversation. So this is why I don't focus on censorship and moderation, because the real issue is if you blur your eyes and zoom way out and say, how does the whole machine tend to operate? Like, no matter what I start with, what is it going to recommend next? So, if you started with, a World War II video, YouTube would recommend a bunch of Holocaust denial videos, right? If you started teen girls with a dieting video, it would recommend these anorexia videos. In Facebook's case, if you joined, there's so many different examples here, because Facebook recommends groups to people based on what it thinks is most engaging for you. So if you were a new mom, you had Renee DiResta, my friend, on this podcast. We've done a bunch of work together, and she has this great example of, as a new mom, she joined one Facebook group for mothers who do it-yourself baby food, like organic baby food. And then Facebook has this sidebar. It says, here's some other groups you might recommend, you might want to join. And what do you think was the most engaging of those? Because Facebook, again, is picking on which group, if I got you to join it, would cause you to spend the most time here, right? So for some do-it-yourself baby food groups, which group do you think it selected?
Probably something about vaccines.
Exactly. So
Really?
anti-vaccines for moms. Yeah. Okay. So then if you join that group, now it does the same, runs the process again. So now look at Facebook. So it says, hey, I've got these voodoo dolls. I've got like 100 million voodoo dolls, and they just joined this anti-vaccine moms group. And then what do they tend to engage with for a very long time if I get them to join these other groups? Which of those other groups would show up?
I don't know.
Chemtrails.
Oh, okay.
Pizzagate.
Flat Earth?
Flat Earth, absolutely. Yep. And YouTube recommended, so I'm interchangeably going from YouTube to Facebook because it's the same dynamic. They're competing for attention, and YouTube recommended Flat Earth conspiracy theories hundreds of millions of times. And so when you're a parent during COVID, and you sit your kids in front of YouTube because you're like, this is the digital pacifier, got to let them do their thing, I got to do work.
Right.
And then you come back to the dinner table and your kid says, the Holocaust didn't happen and the earth is flat. And people are wondering why. It's because of this. And now to your point about this sort of moderation thing, we can take the whack-a-mole stick after the public yells and Renee and I, make a bunch of noise or something, and a large community, by the way, of people making noise about this. And they'll say, okay, shoot, you're right. Flat Earth, we got to deal with that. And so they'll tweak the algorithm. And then people make a bunch of noise about the thinspiration videos for anorexia for kids, and they'll deal with that problem. But then they start doing it based reactively. But again, if you zoom out, it's just still recommending stuff that's kind of from the crazy town section of
Is
YouTube.
the problem the recommendation? Because I don't mind that people have ridiculous ideas about Hollow Earth, because I think it's humorous. But I'm also a 53-year-old man.
Right.
Right. I'm not a 12-year-old boy with a limited education that is like, oh my God, the government's lying to us. There's lizard people that live under the earth.
Right.
But if that's the real argument about these conspiracy theories, is that they can influence young people, or the easily impressionable, or people that maybe don't have a sophisticated sense of vetting out bullshit.
Right. Well, and the algorithms aren't making a distinction between who is just laughing at it and who is deeply vulnerable to it. And generally, it just says who's vulnerable to it. Because another example, the way I think about this is if you were driving down the highway, and there's Facebook and Google trying to figure out like what should I give you based on what tends to keep your attention. If you look at a car crash, and everybody driving on the highway, they look at the car crash. According to Facebook and Google, it's like the whole world wants car crashes. We just feed them car crashes after car crashes after car crashes. And what the algorithms do, as Guillaume Chasleau in the film says, who's the YouTube whistleblower from the YouTube recommendation system, is they find the perfect little rabbit hole for you that it knows will keep you there for 5 hours. And the conspiracy theory, like dark corners of YouTube, were the dark corners that tends to keep people there for 5 hours. And so you have to realize that we're now something like 10 years in to this vast psychology experiment where it's been, in every language in hundreds of countries, right? And in hundreds of languages, it's been steering people towards the crazy town. And when I say crazy town, I think of, imagine there's a spectrum on YouTube. And there's on one side you have like the calm Walter Cronkite, Carl Sagan, slow, kind of boring, but like educational material or something. And on the other side of the spectrum, you have, the craziest stuff you can find. Crazy Town. No matter where you start, you could start in Walter Cronkite or you could start in Crazy Town. But if I'm YouTube and I want you to watch more, am I going to steer you towards the calm stuff or am I going to steer you more towards Crazy Town?
Crazy Town.
Always more towards Crazy Town. So then you imagine just tilting the floor of humanity just by like 3 degrees, right? And then you just step back and you let society run its course. As Jaron Lanier says in the film, if you just tilt society by 1 degree, 2 degrees, that's the whole world. That's what everyone is thinking and believing. And so if you look at the degree to which people are deep into rabbit hole conspiracy thinking right now, and again, I want to acknowledge COINTELPRO, Operation Mockingbird, there's a lot of real stuff, right? So I'm not categorically dismissing it, but we're asking, what is the basis upon which we're believing the things we are about the world? And increasingly that's based on technology. And we can get into, what's going on in Portland. Well, the only way I know that is I'm looking at my social media feed, and according to that, it looks like the entire city's on fire and it's a war zone. But I called a friend there the other day, and he said, it's a beautiful day. There's actually no violence anywhere near where I am. It's just like these 2 blocks or something like that. Right. And this is the thing, is warping our view of reality. And I think that's what really, for me, The Social Dilemma was really trying to accomplish as a film, and the director, Jeff Orlowski, was trying to accomplish, is how did this society go crazy everywhere all at once, seemingly. This didn't happen by accident, it happened by design of this business model.
When did the business model get implemented? Like, when did they start using these algorithms to recommend things? Because initially, YouTube was just a series of videos, and it didn't have that recommended section. When was that?
It's a good question. I mean, originally YouTube was just post a video and you can get people to, go to that URL and send it around. They needed to figure out, once the competition for attention got more intense, they needed to figure out, how am I going to keep you there? And so recommending those videos on the right-hand side, I think that was there pretty early, if I remember, actually. Because that was sort of the innovation, is like keeping people within this YouTube wormhole. And once people were in the YouTube wormhole, constantly seeing videos, that was what they could offer the promise to a new video uploader. Hey, if you post it here, you're going to get way more views than if you post it on Vimeo, right? And that's the thing. If I open up TikTok right now on my phone,
do you have TikTok on your phone?
Well, I'm not supposed to, obviously, but more for research purposes.
Research. Do you know how to TikTok at all?
No.
Okay. My 12-year-old's obsessed.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. She can't even sit around. If she's standing still for 5 minutes, she just starts like... She starts TikToking.
And that's the thing. I mean,
2012.
2012.
Oh, so the Mayans were right.
Right.
2012, the platform announced an update to the discovery system designed to identify the videos people actually want to watch by prioritizing videos that hold attention throughout, as well as increasing the amount of time a user spends on the platform overall. YouTube could assure advertisers that it was providing a valuable, high-quality experience for people.
Yeah.
So that's beginning of the end.
Yeah. So 2012 on YouTube's timeline, I mean, the Twitter and Facebook world, I think, introduces the retweet and reshare buttons in the 2009 to 2010 kind of time period. So you end up with this world where the things that we're most paying attention to are based on algorithms choosing for us. And so the sort of deeper argument that's in the film that I'm not sure everyone picks up on is these technology systems have taken control of human choice. They've taken control of humanity because they're controlling the information that all of us are getting.
Right.
Think about every election. Like, I think of Facebook as kind of a voting machine, but it's a sort of indirect voting machine because it controls the information for 4 years that your entire society is getting. And then everyone votes based on that information. Now you could say, well, hold on, radio and television were there and were partisan before that, but actually radio and TV are often getting their news stories from Twitter, and Twitter is recommending things based on these algorithms. So when you control the information that an entire population is getting, you're controlling their choices. I mean, literally in military theory, if I want to screw up your military, I want to control the information that it's getting. I want to confuse the enemy. And that information funnel is the very thing that's been corrupted. And it's like the Flint water supply for our minds.